there's a seamless transition
Yeah,
into
we gotta
what
we
the
gotta talk
Nittany
about this
Lions
game.
football team did this Saturday, because I mean, I know I've had my doubts about Penn State this year, but I'm still, like, obviously, deep down, always gonna love my Nittany Lions and be a Penn State fan. That was one of the best wins that I've seen in the last I would say 5-6 years, since I was a freshman, which is really when I started giving a shit. That was just straight up. And I'll let you take the floor to start, because you were there, you were witnessing in person. But I just had to say that was a great win.
Yeah, just to reiterate your point, I could count 10 games in the past 5, 6, 7 years that we lost exactly on how we won this past weekend. Just craziness. I experienced the full roller coaster of being a Penn State fan. I put a lot of weight on this game about how I felt about the Nittany Lions. Like, I liked West Virginia. Illinois was a cute little test, but like, before the season even started, I said this USC game is going to be the difference between, like, if I actually think we're legitimate or not. Regardless of what USC season been, they're 3-3 now. They might be the best 3-3 team in the country. I mean, like Miller Moss, like USC, Lincoln Riley, like, they got a good squad, no doubt about it. But yeah, I was there. I don't know if it showed like up on cameras or not, but like, the Coliseum obviously has like one full side, and the other side's like kind of like emptiness, and they got like banners and such like that. Well, like,
I did see
the
that.
Penn State fans, like on the right side of it, we had like 3 or 4 sections of just blue and white. Like, we came heavy. We had an army there. And then if you even looked out, there was a ton of white. Like, we traveled super
I saw
well.
you.
Yeah. Um, campus is
Always do.
campus is beautiful. And how they tailgate is like, they just find a patch of grass and just like put a grill up in a cooler. Like, it's wild. It was crazy to me.
Like at like a 4A intersection, they'll just like pull up.
Yeah, like literally think
Really?
of like think of how like you're walking like where like the hub is. I don't know like what road that is, but like where like the hub is, and there's like kind of like that brick or whatever. And like
Mhm.
in how it kind of like separates as a street, it in like a middle way of the street, if there was grass there, you like people are pulling up
Yeah.
there and they're putting a tent there, and they're like, it was like so wild how it all was. But very nice. Didn't get jeered out a lot. I didn't do too much jeering. But game starts. We get first drive. We drive. We catch that lousy penalty. End up kicking a field goal. But I was pretty confident. And then it just, like, was it? I went to the bathroom, I think, and I came back, and like the whole Penn State section was like down in rough. I'm like, what just happened? 80-yard touchdown to the house. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Like, here goes Penn State, like the classic old big game on the schedule, and you just come out flat. That's exactly what they did. I think it was 20-3, the most we were down by at one point, able to make it 26 at half. But I was down bad. I did not leave my seat, though, unless I had to go to the bathroom or get a drink. My stepbrother I was with, he was like, hey, like, you want to go like walk around, maybe like a reset? I'm like, no, I got to suffer through this. Like, I flew across the country for this bullshit. I even think at one point, hand up, I started a Fire Franklin chant. I think I was like, I literally started screaming. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Same old shit, J-Mo. Nothing ever changes. I flew from the East Coast of this fucking game, and this is what I get. Fire Franklin. And a couple people joined me. So, like, there's,
Yeah,
there were
right.
some people, whatever. But the turning point of the game, and this obviously is a turning point of the game if you were just watching it on broadcast. But me personally, I'm in the stands, and I just hear like thud, thud, thud. And there's about like 5 or 6 USC look like frat boys that pull up, and they sit the row right behind me. And, I'm like, all right, like, what? Like, hopefully this doesn't turn bad. Like, I don't know how much y'all would drink or whatever. And the very first words I hear out of this one guy, he goes, Drew Allar, top 10 quarterback in college football. He fucking sucks. And I think right as he said that, the next play was like a 30-yard pass to like Caden Wallace or like Amari Evans or something. And I like turned around and I said, is he still ass? And he was like, scoreboard, scoreboard. And 2 plays later was that Tyler Warren snap from center touchdown pass. And I turn around, I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, he sucks, dude, but I like him or whatever. And then from there, like, it was a complete turning point. And they stayed, luckily, all the way up until the fourth quarter. They didn't stay for overtime. And I was like, these pussies. But I did eventually end up talking to
They
them.
ain't real fans of
Yeah, they ain't
USC.
real. Well, yeah, I did eventually end up talking to them, and they were like, they were saying like, oh yeah, like I grew up going to USC, but like I go to like some blah 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 community college, like LA community college, and like all this shit. I'm like, oh, so you guys like aren't even fucking fans. You're just here to like rile us up. So I was like, fuck you guys. But thank God they came. They were the guardian angels. They completely turned everything. And I felt really good. We when we tied it back up late, and like what a hell of a drive from Drew, and talk about Julian Fleming too, who like hasn't been like the greatest, or like maybe in our perception as Penn Staters when he came in, he hasn't lived up to our expectations. But the two probably biggest catches of the season came off of Julian Fleming, and they were both on fourth down. And especially that fourth down, like that 4th and 10, when Drew Allard just escaped out of the pocket. Dude, I was like,
What
I was in
the
the,
fuck?
I was like this in the stands, just the whole time, and like screaming. I'm like, we have life, we have life, we have life, and ended up tying it. Got that huge stop, which I really wasn't worried about. I said, once we get to overtime, if we push overtime, we're winning this. Like, there's no way that we're losing it. And we won the toss. They got the ball first. I'm like, I love that even more. Put the pressure all on USC when momentum's all on our side. From my vantage point of their field goal try, it looked good. Like I turned around and I like started clapping to Penn State fans. I'm like, all right, like we forced a field goal, all good. And like the guy like looked at me like a deer in the headlights, and I turned around and everybody was celebrating. I was like, he missed it. I was shocked. I thought he made it from my vantage point. And then I was like, even more like, let's go. We got Katron and Nick, just run it to where like our field goal kicker Ryan Baker, who shout out him. I'll get to him in a second, but just run it so wherever it's comfortable for him, and just stone cold like makes it. He was perfect on the day. Walk on, turned on the hero. I mean, and then what I didn't know until my buddy texted me was that they were interviewing him, and they were like, "What was going on through your mind during that kick?" And he said, uh, he said nothing, just how I was going to celebrate it, and that's fucking hard. Like that's what I need out of the kicker. So just fantastic. Good for the boys. I mean, scary, but like when you look at like the rest of the weekend, it was also scary. And it's just even more of a reality check that now at this point in a college football season with so many losses, don't even care about beating up opponents, just survive in advance. Be 1-0, be 1-0, keep surviving.
Yeah.
And what a hell of a game. So I retract my Fire Franklin claims. Like what a win. You survived for now. I think what also got me respect points was seeing how we were trying to plant the flag at USC, which I didn't see in person, but we tried planting, and Franklin was there almost immediately. It was like, nah, we don't do that shit. And I agree. You're the number 4 team in the nation, and you're playing against an unranked team at home on the service level. You don't fucking plant your flag, especially when there's no rivalry yet. You do that. You could do that at Ohio State. You could do that at Michigan and go ahead. I'll let you do it at the big house. That's hard. But USC, wait for that to brew, because I do think this will be a nice little rivalry in the future of the Big Ten. But just magical, dude. And thank God I was there to experience it. Like I'm blessed. I had that Rec Hall, Illinois thriller game for Penn State basketball, and I finally got my first like thriller Penn State win, and it just made the LA trip. It made it worth it. Made it worth it. That was really the only reason why I was there.
I mean, shit. Yeah, if they would have lost, I mean, I would right with that would have been. I mean, what a somber plane ride home. Like, come on, like.
And I would have been there for an extra day because I like flew home Monday, so I would have been there Sunday. Just like, God damn it! Like, I don't even want to be in this town no more.
You don't gotta explain. I saw the Eagles lose the Super Bowl, like, and I had like you'll never have to explain anything like that to me, like, and that's why I don't like rub shit in now, because I know like the peak of that pain. So I'm glad they won for you. Like that was I was saying with my buddy Alex on Saturday, because we was like fire slate, like let's get together, watch some football. He's like he didn't go to Penn State, but he's like a Penn State fan too, and we were talking. And we are like, dude, I was like, I really would be shocked if this is more than like a touchdown game. So I was like, I did 2 parlays for that day. I did one with Penn State money line and the one with USC spread.
Okay.
That it ended up, they both ended up shanking because Oklahoma lost. So it didn't matter. But it didn't matter. But I just had to say that because like this is like really how I viewed this game. And I think anybody with a brain knew that this would be close. But that wasn't how I expected it to be close. Like for Penn State to be down 20-3.
Yeah.
There are so many on the road against a team so desperate to find like an identity and get this big dub. For you to like, I'm like almost like speechless because that like doesn't happen. That barely even happened with like, Trace, like, it didn't happen in my years with Sean, but it started to happen. And I sent out like 5 or 6 tweets. I think like 75% of them had Tyler Warren's name in it.
Oh my God.
You said the turning point was, I mean, that was obvious to me. I was like, no way he catches it.
Yeah.
Tyler freaking Warren, man. 17 receptions. Tied the FBS record for a tight end. 224 yards. That is the second most in Penn State history. And then an absolute moss of a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then you watch the replay, like it's just insane how he was able to come with that and keep that concentration, come down with that. But it's just like I'll talk about Drew in a minute because this is also the best that I have felt about Drew LR. And I know I said my piece on Drew LR.
Yeah, I wanted to hear this.
I've also said yeah, he was a freshman, like, I'll give him a little bit of time. But I had to, play the part a little bit. But yeah, I'm not gonna backtrack and be like, I've always been on like Drew LR's side, let's go. But I will say, like, the dude has taken the necessary steps. I didn't know he had a guy like Tyler Warren. Just absolutely, like I tweeted, it's Jahan Dotson-esque, like the way, like heavy on light, but like also like you look at the stat line. I don't know, 17 catches, man. Like, come on, he was throwing the ball, he was running the ball. He like USC didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah,
and give credit to Franklin, Kotelnicki, whatever. But that first turning point was Warren, and the second one is probably like that's the most obvious, the 4th and 10.
Yeah.
From what was it, like the 40?
Mm-hmm.
When he just evaded the pressure, stepped up, and then delivered it to yeah, you said Fleming.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made the I didn't expect that much from him, but he's made the plays when he's needed to make them.
Yeah.
And I mean,
well, those were his only 2 catches. Yeah. And they were back-to-back 4th downs.
Yeah. Like that's like, cannot say anything like bad about a player like that who shows up, when he needs to, and especially when Warren's carrying the load. And then, yeah, I said like Katron and Singleton get that name rack, but dude, Tyler Warren, like he's like kind of like Taysom Hilly, like a little bit less like on the quarterback side, but like he's a utility guy. Like I see, he's got to be a 1st round pick, second round. Like, holy crap.
Yeah,
that was one of the most insane performances I've ever witnessed, like on a football field. And I've seen a lot of other great ones. That was awesome.
And I'm glad that they won because I don't think he would get like any of the recognition, which is why like I think like our boy Aiden Conrad tweeted like give Tyler Warren the Mackey Award right now, and I like responded, I was like, it doesn't even matter because like at that point like we were getting washed, and I'm like, who cares what kind of big game he has? Like if we can't win, no one cares about it. So like thank God it wasn't washed away. But yeah, Drew, man. I mean, it was a tough watch in the first half. I think he had like 2 of his 3 interceptions in the first half, and I was really like, damn, like it's gonna come down on this kid, and like maybe he's not what he is, but man, he put his balls out on the table and he ended that game. Ain't no one I'd rather go to war with than James Franklin. That shit fucking inspired me, but it was amazing, dude. I can't believe I was there to even witness it. It still feels like a fever dream. I don't think I've come down from yet.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't blame you. And that's what it like. It's the mentality.
Yeah.
Like for him to like they were bad. I another one of my tweets was like, yeah, that like Drew with that Jalen Hurts ad pick, like just threw into like triple coverage. I'm like, what are you doing there, man? And I kind of thought that I was like that might have been the nail in the coffin or whatever. But he rebounded, man, and that's what I needed to see in a big game on the road. Just showing that mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Sticking in there. If like avoiding that pressure. Like bravo. There's still you got Wisconsin. You got Ohio State, but like and yeah, the post game interview I enjoyed that too. One last thing I'll say about him. I think it was I got it right here. It was Jev Lee, I believe. I should have clicked on his profile, but I just got the screenshot. I think he's a coach for Penn State, but he basically sent a tweet out about Drew's prep.
Oh yeah, I did see that tweet.
And like this is stuff that like you don't see. Like this is stuff that you don't see, but you obviously need to have. 6:30 a.m. Monday to Friday in the QB meeting room, just in the dark studying film since he's got on campus his freshman year. Every Friday, gives like special video requests to be loaded on his iPad for the studies in the hotel for away games, game day, studies film, all the way up to where he's taking the field. And he says like Drew Law's preparation is elite. So I gotta give that to him too, because especially in these conference games, it could be it's the slimmest slimmest of margins.
Yeah.
And you kind of see it. Like you do see it. He is like, obviously he had the interceptions, but like shit happens. Like Peyton Manning, is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I got Brett Favre, Tom Brady, like throw picks. It's how you respond. And he's kick ass.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
If I had to say any qualms of like, because like obviously I'm still very confident about this team, number 3 in the nation now, but my only qualm is like Tom Allen needs to be better. Our defense can't start like that, and it's been starting like that basically all season long. Like first half, we just look so flat. Like we can't be doing that, especially against Ohio State, and definitely not against Wisconsin. I mean, say what you want about Wisconsin, but like playing there on the road, 7:30, coming off a bye, when James Franklin already doesn't have a good reputation. But like I just feel like Tom Allen needs to do a better job with that. But our offense is kind of like the same. They're a second half offense for sure. But like Trace in like the Saquon days, like that was kind of a second half offense. And they were like
kind of a second half offense.
And they won a Big Ten championship out of it. So like the offense, like I'm cool with, and also like James Franklin has that reputation of like kind of like a communist leader of Penn State where like everything has to go through him. I do feel like watching this offense, it is like night and day compared to past years. But even as just like a football fan myself, like watching the Steelers on Sunday and watching Penn State on Saturday is just two completely different offenses. And a lot of that, though, with Penn State and their change, that's like Colt Nicky. Like James Franklin's never even thinking about that Tyler Warren play. Like there's no way in his like 8, 9, 10 years, whatever, how long he's been with Penn State, there's no way he was ever even thinking that could be a play in the book. So I do think there is like quite a medium to long length leash for Cole and Nicky as far as the offense goes. And if there isn't, it definitely should be after this weekend, because holy shit, that was a fun offense, especially to watch live.
I mean, that's kind of been if there has been a Penn State recipe for success on offense the last since the Sandusky scandal. Like it's been, I guess you got obviously like a good, tight end, obviously like usually a safety blanket. Which I mean that could be anybody in this offense. But you got one guy really that it runs through who can do everything. That was, I mean, really, it was I mean Godwin, you had Godwin there, it was huge. You had Robinson, who had Gesicki had a couple. Like I'm talking about the safety blanket, but
yeah,
like you need a guy, and it's going to be interesting to see now, like if teams catch on to what he can, because he was, if he wasn't on the map already, he's definitely on the map now, and he's going to be a focal point in the film room, and it's going to be like wherever 44, right? 47, mm-hmm. 44, 44, right?
Yeah,
wherever 44 goes. Like we need two guys on, like we need a spy on 44. Like we got to be ready for everything. So be interesting to see how they respond to that. But he's a guy who Penn State can work with like down the stretch here in these big games. And yeah, when you got you didn't even see much from Liam Clifford in this game. who's made some big catches. I mean, he's
Yeah,
made some, he was Penn
he had a
State's
big week
leader.
last week.
Yeah, I think he's Penn State's leading receiver in 2 games this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, James Franklin off the bye. We'll talk about that Wisconsin game. James Franklin off the bye always scares me.
Yeah.
But you also, are you going to go undefeated? Probably not. So, but I feel like that was awesome. Like that was great.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Warren, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And Drew at the end, like that was great.
And
Ryan Barker should never have to pay for a drink in State College.
Never. No,
Hopefully
he's a
he didn't have
legend.
to.
No, he's a legend. Especially when like week 1, we were like, why the fuck do we not have a good kicker on the team? Like,
Yep. And then look what he hit. Like hit 4. I think 4.
Yeah, he was 4 for 4, and then 3 for 3 on extra points, and then obviously the game winner. But last thing, we'll close the book. LBU. People say a lot about Penn State, and you were talking about it. Tight end, man. This is the pipeline that we've had in the past like 8 years. Gesicki, Pat Fryermuth, Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, now Tyler Warren. Like, that's a fucking good-ass slate of tight ends in the past few years.
They're all in the NFL, bro. I mean, you can do the Jesse James if you want to go a little
You
bit
could
back.
throw Jesse James in there, too.
It's got to be somebody in the middle there. I mean, Juwan Johnson.
Juwan
He was
Johnson.
a Penn Stater, bro.
Yeah.
He still got one of that one-handed catch against Ohio State. That was my freshman year. So
Yeah.
that was still one of the greatest catches live I have ever seen. Then he went to Oregon. But he still makes plays for the Saints now.
Okay,
So, yeah.
we still claim him. We still claim him.
Yeah, we still claim him. I might be missing like one. But, yeah, like definitely like it's got to be. I think Iowa might have a little bit of a case. But Penn State, that list is longer, man.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. If you're a top tight end recruit in the nation, I don't know why you ain't looking at Penn State. Because we like to use them bad boys, and they get drafted.